It came out on the 18th of February 2016, so I thought it was about time that I took a little look at it, you know, after everybody's played with it and toyed over the idea of buying it and bought it, sold it, and seen the prices go up and down. Anyway, it's the Fujifilm X70. Without further ado, let's take a look at it. At 340 grams, this camera features 16.3 megapixel X-Trans 2 sensor, an almost 28mm full frame equivalent lens at 2.8, which goes round to f16 with this very nice little ring there. That is very cool. Across the top, as you can see, hot shoe, shutter speed, auto, on, off, and exposure compensator, and this interesting video button on the back. We've got a nice 3-inch touchscreen, the usual D-pad there, quick button, display, etc., and a little dial right there. Now in here you'll see the 2.5mm jack as well as HDMI, and very, very important, a USB charging port right there. Across the bottom, the battery and the SD card. Let's get out and have a little play and reconvene on the other side. In my hands at least, the camera feels good. Maybe a little extra grip wouldn't go amiss, but I could always fling on a half case, but I'm happy with it. I like the feel of the cold, solid metal, even on dodgy UK winter as you're seeing today. I'm happy with it, that's fine. The ergonomics, for what it's worth, for a slip in the pocket camera, absolutely fine. Nobody that's a hyperpixel peeper is or has been interested in this camera anyway, but distortion, chromatic aberration, fringing and the like, not an issue at all, especially for what this thing is all about. Yeah, the touchscreen a little bit limited. Yeah, I did knock the on-off button a few times by accident, but overall, very happy. There's a few things that I'd potentially change, but all in all, I'm happy with that. If we see an upgrade, I wouldn't mind seeing a reworked compensator dial, maybe with a little tiny, it'd have to be small, wheel on the front, so I can get my C mode plus -5 and just do it that way. A little bit faster for me, but I think that's a minor thing to ask for. The autofocus does like to jump back and forth before locking in at times, which is another reason that that special corner of the internet that needs autofocus, that's impossibly fast, well, yeah, that's why we don't have to worry about them buying up what's left of the X70s out there. For the purpose, it's fine, not a bother at all. Even the face tracking works a treat, and it catches on my eye at times as well, which is, you know, pretty good. 2016 camera, yeah, other cameras have done a lot of the tech stuff before, but, you know, for what it is, I'm happy. The lens is sharp across the frame from wide open. Close focusing is very nice, and now when it comes to close focusing and getting a bit of bokeh, getting a bit of depth of field, of course, with this focal length, you've got to work a tiny little bit harder, but you can get it, and the bokeh is actually pleasant once you get it. It's not magical, but again, not the purpose of a camera like this at a focal length like this. The focal length may be a little bit awkward for some people out there. You know, it's not 35mm, it's not ultra wide, 27.5, arguably 28mm full frame equivalent. I enjoyed it anyway. As you can possibly guess, I don't think it's a great one for a manual focus shooter. I mean, I'm not a manual focus shooter 99.99% of the time, so that doesn't worry me about this. But if you're really desperate about a manual focusing, get your hands on it before you order it, I suppose. We should talk about that flip screen. I really like it. It adds a bit of fun to the camera for selfies, for group shots. Playing with the kids, for example, the kids love the screen. I mean, frankly, unfortunately, who doesn't love a screen? Remember, if you're doing a group shot or a couple shot, whatever, people's eyes tend to be drawn to the screen, which is therefore away from the lens. So you might want to check that out before you go snap crazy with it. But it's a nice thing, and it's really well implemented. I enjoy it. If the video was better, this could also appeal to amateur vloggers. I mean, you do have a mic port, 2.5mm for what it's worth. Let's not really talk about that video record button. Very, very awkward to stop a video recording, and as this thing doesn't have stabilization, yeah, it's not really all about the video. If we ever get an upgrade, I'd be looking forward to Acros. I'm not too worried about classic chrome or classic negative. Doesn't really work for me. Yeah, I guess we'd see some improved autofocus and video modes, of course, just to add some extra value to this. I was thinking about a pop-up EVF. I found myself wanting to shoot, you know, with an EVF. I think it could be implemented, perhaps. You know, Sony have done it. Yeah, that'd be pretty nice, little tiny EVF there. Otherwise, pretty happy with it as it is, frankly. Will we ever see an upgrade? Let us know what you think in the comments below. I mean, it's possible that Fujifilm, well, they're probably most likely concentrating on other upgrades at the moment. I'm sure they're aware of what's happening with this, especially it seems to be getting some kind of cult status among Fuji users. The second-hand prices seem to be going up lately. I've seen them for about 465, 495, and before I was seeing even sub £300, that is. So something's happening regarding this X70. It's like they discontinued it, and it's slowly becoming, at least for some of us, a bit of a collector's item. I suppose that's pretty cool, supply and demand kind of thing. But it would be nice, one day maybe, to see an upgrade to it. But this thing's got a lot of life in it yet, especially for a stills shooter. Call it what you want. Baby X100S or T, Mini XE2, XE2S. Of course, it shares the same sensor and processor as a bunch of very capable larger Fujifilm bodies that are solid cameras for stills. So yeah, this thing is really worth looking at if you haven't looked at it yet. How is it compared to an XF10 or something like that? Well, I don't personally believe the XF10 was really put out to replace this, and I think most of you will agree. Yeah, I mean, as with everything, it's a personal preference. but this definitely warrants attention, even 4 or 5 years down the line. Have you used this? How do you feel about it now, some years down the line? Do you think we'll ever see an upgrade? Let us know in the comments below, subscribe, and I'll see you there.